Let's talk.
The Current Affairs Show.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Unemployment to make clarification. Minister of Labor and Employment to make clarification as to how far about that, even whether it is implementable and what stage you're in. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Sixth item was about, and specifically the issues that were about road transport workers and return. Immediately today, we embark on meetings between the two organizations. As of today, things were already out and we have concluded that of return. Today, they are making a report to the ministry about their agreement, because they went into agreement too, and they're also going to get back to their parent association. And then the next one was the NURTW. Last week we were with them. Of course, if some of you were there, you knew we postponed. I reminded them that we had to, because we were keeping to the of the agreement. But they said no, we cannot strictly keep to the dates because it's important to them that we realize the end. So we shifted the meeting to tomorrow. And today also going to get a report, and by tomorrow we'll fix a meeting. The reason why we presented all these items to the Federal Executive Council is for them to note and approve that after these things, we will not want to be tolerating interference into union activities. But those that are pending is within the ministry, Federal Ministry of Work, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. So many of them are there. Our role is to dispense with these conflicts, and we're going to continue to do that. But these two items that I mentioned were really the particular things they hammered on when we were doing the agreement. By God's grace, in the next few days, those ones are going to be, they will be over.
Expenditure more is a requirement of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. So it's always a 3-year document. So this Fiscal Responsibility Act is for the years 2024 to 2026. The $700 reference price assumes our optimism that investment will continue to come in, given all the engagements, given all the positive traction we are seeing from investors, the engagement that were led by Mr. President, personally to different countries, in particular India, UAE, and France. The engagement led by the coordinating minister of the economy, engagement led by the trade and investment minister, and indeed other ministers. So now increasingly engagement made by the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and indeed all other ministers. So we believe that these inflows will help us to clear the backlog, and the exchange rate will begin to reflect stronger value than the current weakness. Equally,
there is also supplementary.
Equally, there was a question on the assumptions that I spoke about a number of assumptions, but I said one. I said two. The assumptions include oil price benchmark, which I said for 2024, we are assuming 73.96, oil production of 1.78 million barrels a day, exchange rate of 700, then the inflation of 21% and peak growth rate of 3.76%. The aggregate expenditure is estimated at 26.01 trillion naira for the 2024 budget, which includes statutory transfers of 1.3 trillion, non-debt recurrent expenditure of 10.26 trillion, debt service estimated at 8.25 trillion, and as well as 7.78 being provided for personnel and pension cost. Debt service increased because 22.7 trillion naira ways and means were securitized, meaning it became a government debt at 9%. That is easily about 2.1 trillion naira debt service. Equally, personal costs are going up because of the transfers pursuant to the agreement with which the Minister of Labour spoke about, and indeed anticipation that further agreement Labour might increase in the salary and pensions increases. Thank you. Yes, there will be a supplementary budget because, of course, there are continuing obligations and there are responses to security which can be immediate. So Mr. President is mindful of those and is assessing them. But Mr. President is also committed to the budget process and its integrity. So he wants to ensure that monies that are appropriated will be can be spent in the period for which they are appropriated. One. And then in terms of presentation of the budget, Mr. President has been engaging with the National Assembly leadership, even ahead of the presentation, to say these are our assumptions, these are our thought processes, so that it can reduce the lead time for which the budget has to go through such considerations, because these are things that there are national interests concerned, there are international economic dynamics and so reference prices that are not difficult to agree upon. And because of that, we anticipate and the broader, generally good cooperation between the executive and the National Assembly, we believe that this presentation, this budget will be presented in good time, particularly the 2024 budget, to be passed as before 31st December, and to be passed and before 31st December 2023.
Let's now turn to the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinator for Economy. So many questions, I'm sure he has noted them and he responded to them appropriately. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Let me start just from what my colleague, the Minister of Budget and Planning, had said in response to the exchange rate and the figure used in the expenditure framework document. I think, we probably are all aware that an exchange rate is determined by fundamental factors as well as other less objective-like factors such as speculation and market interaction. But fundamentally, if you look at the last time the Naira was fairly stable or relatively stable, 10 years or so ago, and you plot the differential between the dollar and the Naira in terms of the interest rates, you probably come to somewhere around the figure that we see that we see in the document, and some not even interest so much as the inflation rate. That's the key determinant, the difference between the two. If the inflation rate is same, the gap between the currencies or the exchange rate between the two of them would actually not move by much. But that's just to contribute to the debate and the understanding regarding the exchange rate assumption that has been used. On the 1.5 billion, in technical terms, called a budget support program, and it is something that is less earned rather than given automatically. The bold, brave, courageous, and decisive measures that Mr. President has taken is being rewarded by processing for Nigeria $1.5 billion of immediate financing, which is provided that we do everything on our own side, it'll be in before the end of the year. And it comes in one go, it doesn't drip as we want for a project, and it is really just to support the reform effort. The reform does not come out a lag between cause and effect. And although some effects are already in place, such as already smuggling is and domestic production in some areas is being encouraged and is being increased, it takes time before the full benefits in, and in the meantime, things are tough. Mr. President is aware, and that's why he has the intervention package, 500 billion naira, as well as other measures, including a wage award and later on a new structure for the country. So I think that answers all the questions about the 1.5 billion why and how soon and use of proceeds. It goes straight into the balance, goes straight into the reserves to support the effort to improve the country's fiscal situation, to improve government finances. As I think you have heard from NNPC, GCEO, as well as others, by the time Mr. President took over, the country was financially in very dire straits. NNP itself was threatened financially by the continuous payment of the subsidy regime. Regarding the IF and tax, the multilateral government institutions are in place essentially to help to help balance things in the world economy, keep going, and help developing countries as much as possible to do well and catch up. So apart from they give advice. They have a lot of data, there are a lot of analysis which can be taken and which can be taken. You can take their advice without taking their money. If you don't like the conditions, the advice comes conditionally every single time. And you can even ask them to model things for you and advise. So the interaction with the IMF and any other multilateral development bank is not necessarily for the money. In this particular case, you're talking about the fact that the IMF pointed to the glaring fact that as a percentage of the GDP, as a percentage of all the wealth created in Nigeria year after year, only about 8% is collected in this. The government only gets 8%, and it's the government fundamentally that provides the law and order, the environment in which all that wealth is made, all that wealth, that consumption capability is made, and only 8% come back. Is low by African standards, is low by world standards. Other countries, Europe, they go as high as 60, 70%. So that really, I think, explains why we are looking to take advice that says, grow your revenue. We have a tax fiscal policy.
This is Main Crossfire.
We'll be back after now. Stay with us.
Informative, exciting, and stimulating.
Nothing.
Audio Jungle.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
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 Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is 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 Nigeria Info.
Before the break, it was the Minister of Finance, Wale Adeosun, was speaking about says, about plans, and about many other things that need to be done. But they acknowledge that the president is aware that things are tough and things need done differently and need to be done urgently. Okay, so let's complete that briefing.
Is to take the tax over GDP, percentage of tax collected as a result of GDP to 18%. And finally, why borrowing? As I've said, the borrowing is constitutional, is cheap, and it is needed. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Works, you can use this mic. This one is closer.
Yeah, thank you. Vanguard, I think I saw that video where they were offloading somewhere in Abia State, but I meant to be corrected. I thought that what they're doing is Tana Road, that is called Port Harcourt Road. Port Harcourt Road, you know. There are 4 sections of Port Harcourt Nugu Road. There are 4 sections. 2 sections have been completed, you know, ROCC and Arab contractors. The other 2 sections, the sections that, you know, ends in Port Harcourt, you know, about Port Harcourt is being handled by and the section that, CCECC, sorry, and then the section that ends in Enugu being handled by CGC. Now, these two were listed in 2022 supplementary appropriation. The second appropriation took away them, just like many other roads in the country, and the money was used to do palliative. And so in the supplementary appropriation, we are discussing with the appropriate authorities to return, some monies to this project so that they can, continue. But let me also asking for permission to build federal roads. When such lists are made, we give approval within 24 hours. But then there are the conditions like you have that they must have to the Federal Ministry of Works standard design. They can and then we can review, and the cost. Because under HDI, when they finish the road, they have to toll it. And so there is a maximum number of there is maximum number of years whereby they have to toll roads and then recoup their money, and then the funds will start coming into Federation account. And why we are very interested, how much the road is going to cost and to adopt the standard procedure in road construction and design. This is very, very important. An example of this system, HDM, that is Highway Development and Management Initiative, was the approval of Lagos or Tabiok today for Ogun State government to build and tow. So the process is not simple. It has to go through the ICRC, that's Infrastructure Commission. They oversee all this, and of course, Ministry of Finance. They have major role to play than Ministry of Works. Our role be the cost of the project, the design of the project, the supervision of the project, but the determine how the cost of the project will be overall interest of the Federation is Ministry of Finance and CROC. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen of the press. I want to thank you for coming and to plead with you to please report correct all the time. The federal government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is determined to provide with honest, credible, and actual information, because it is important for Nigerians to get to know about the programs and projects of government. In that direction, we will continue to brief you to aid your work, that Nigerians will get to know what government is doing, because they are for them. But we also count on you to please report.
No, it's on. You took it off. It was.
Is it on now?
No, it's gone off.
Let me know so that it won't again. So I was just saying that as Mr. President and members of Council are determined to deliver on the promises made by Mr. President, especially in the 8 priority areas, we count on you, gentlemen of the press, to report accurately and factually so that there will be development coming to Nigeria. Please report factually. Thank you very much.
This is Morning Crossfire.
I'm briefing out at least 5 to 6 ministers providing Nigerians with the latest from the FEC meeting that we're going. Quite a lot of interesting things. 26 trillion, 2024 budget. Looks like that's where that would go, in that direction. Road constructions, financial planning, taxes, and all kinds of subjects you can possibly imagine were taught on, and providing perspective of what should be the working guide that Nigerians should know really all about. Well, can they turn things around now that they provided a brief for you on quite a number of subjects? We're waiting to see the turnaround. How soon that will be, the tools that will be for them to do those things remains one of interest as well. I may not be able to play extensive of other things for you, but also to mention to you that the PDP is accusing the INEC chairman, Mahmoud Jubu. They're saying is a cheater. Well, as regards to the likes of Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa, they're saying that, he is possibly in a controversial position, putting himself in a point of controversy and saying, essentially, what they would accept is results that are confirmed through the IRF poll as the main result. So he should understand the times, the tax, and the tenacity that's required of him to provide such a service at this time. Okay, I changed my mind. Let me play part of what they said for you.
This Morning Crossfire.
An electronic transmission of results in the November 2023 governorship elections in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi governorship elections. I just want to emphasize that. We've heard this before. The INEC chairman has said that they will upload electronically and transmit results in the November 11, 2023 governorship election. The PDP has reviewed issues relating to the conduct of the November 11, 2023 governorship elections in the three states of Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo State. And we note one, the people that use beavers, RF, these elections, and even election is a mandatory statutory requirement of the law. What he has said is that the Electoral Act, which has those very copious provisions as to how do you transmit election. So it's a nice thing and it's sharing news, even though take it with a lot of reservation, having regards to the previous act of INEC, that the INEC chairman is now saying, indeed, those procedures are mandatory provisions of the Electoral Act 2022.
This is Crossfire.
House of Assembly elections, which allegedly manipulated and brazenly assisted the APC in rigging the elections, are in the public domain. And there you can read it, where elections didn't take place. You find results being declared, then with army, with security agencies or some thugs harassing people. This again is very, because integrity is not like in the text in the court process. A judge would recuse himself, and the test is not bias, the likelihood of bias. So people might think I will bias. That's for you to recuse yourself and say, I will not in this case, because the ordinary one would believe that I could be biased. That's the text. It's not bias. Now here, Professor Sina Agu is a direct relation of a national officer of the APC. And there are allegations that she is being further compromised to assist the APC in the November 11 governorship election. Now, if your relation in a process relation is going to contest, what would be honorable for you to recuse yourself? So, if she will not do that, the INEC chairman has a responsibility to redeploy so that the process can be seen by ordinary man on the street that indeed it is free, fair, transparent, and there's no possibility of any compromise or anybody who might have an ulterior motive. This is it. Professor Agu, having regards to her antecedent in previous election, has the likelihood of bringing compromise, particularly against the allegation of the public domain that she has been holding clandestine. So she must be removed. She must be redeployed. She must, in her own words, recuse herself. And I think that's the most honorable thing to do.
This is Morning Crossfire.
All right, I've got room to take your course now. There's Nigerian FM. Quite a number of things in the city there. Many of them, and some of them, I may not be able to go around and just complete know much of it. Kogi State is still there. There's a group saying that Kogi under security threat ahead of November elections. Many of you recall the elections the last time was fierce. It was fierce. It was fierce in every right of it. And now there are reasons that say, well, that may happen. Meanwhile, Kogi State gubernatorial candidate of the PDP, Dino Melaye, is also been sharing his perspective with regards to the election. Now has a few people's corner, as one would find it of interest that the FCT people chieftain, Senator Adam, was in Kogi State, also to chair Dino Melaye's camp, essentially, to cheer him up. He was speaking with the Gbagi community there about why they should vote Dino Melaye ahead of others. Meanwhile, the House of Reps have also unveiled the Public Accounts Committee, members of it, the narratives around what they will get done is also part of the things they are keen on saying, come together sometime soon enough. All right, well, all that said, let me listen to you and your views as we bring them in at the time. You can join in on 0700-951-000. Okay, that's 0700-951-0000. And yes, on WhatsApp, it's 09999, that's 999 30137. Okay. Yeah, that should do fine. So let's listen to you and your viewpoints on quite a number of issues as we have them this very morning. If you're joining, it's great. I also dig the number of messages some of you have sent. Quite a subject. The news is always quite a subject of interest, okay? And that'll keep everybody going. Somebody did say, good morning, Femi. Peter Bish come out clearly to defend himself over his certificate forgery. The defense should not be left in terms of cronies as is happening now. It should take a cue from Tinubu, who has set himself beyond reasonable doubt. Bible from FAB City Estate in Abuja did write that in. Good morning. The National Assembly to buy cars worth millions of naira in this critical hardship economy. How can the economy, when we change cars for every member every 4 years, if we know, then you understand. St. Jude is of that opinion. Good day, sir. Pius here. Please educate me. Can I earn my budget and expenses on borrowed? Please, if so, how do I plan, pay back, and also make profit? It's likely you not make profit on borrow money. Just to tell you, that's the part I can tell you about. Franklin from Area 1 says, kind of prefers mass marriage for those youth in for those youth is not sensitive and is not good for the image of Nigeria. When other countries are controlling child population, we are doing the opposite despite those challenges that the nation is facing as a result of overpopulation. Take it or leave. It speaks of how our mind work and how we intend to control population. Frankly, for me, I did paraphrase your message, but you have to know that that is almost something that the government in Kano has done over time, over and over again for the people in Kano. It's one of the things they feel strongly that helps to cut back the likes of poultry, sexual sins, and all kinds of things, as against having birthing children that do not come from families. So it's a way of controlling and ensuring morality within that space as well. If you see that from that perspective, you would understand that things are a little bit different for different societies and why they do may not be so obvious for others sometimes. I'm glad you joined in. Welcome.
Thank you once again. We are welcome to the MLA. I still remember humble software allocating we picking calling from PW Kubwa.
Yes, welcome.
There is always in African society, there is always somebody to link with misfortune. If my wife cannot conceive, I will blame my uncle or my village people or blame the last person I fought with. Senator Abol lost because his opponent was able to provide more evidence, isn't it? And the judge gave the judgment based on the evidence. What has Senate President to do with that? How will Senate President want to lose a member of his own party in the Senate to reduce our own strength? There are things that are inconceivable. I love Senator Abo by the fact he's a young man, very intelligent. I'm sorry to say, sir, you are reckless when you do some things. Because you miss today does not mean you will not win to. Okay? There is no court of no court of opinion. It's court of evidence. Your ability to convince judge with evidence, verify evidence. That is what will give you judgment. Now you are roping our senators trying to create chaos among our ranks in the Senate. As Senator Ojuzo.
Are you a ranking senator? You said in among our ranks. I'm just wondering. Are you? Sorry.
No, because coincidentally the senators is trying to APC members. Just imagine we lost senators. We have almost lost the majority now. We don't want none of the vicious tendency coming from you've lost, you have lost. Go and prepare for 27. Chicken, and don't bring division within APC ranks. And thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity, sir.
Thank you for your view to this. Okay, well, that's what we did. Taking on calls. Good morning to you. The line is it's I don't know what to call it.
Good morning, Femi.
Yes, good morning to you, but I'm struggling to hear you. Well,
my name is Abdul Ali from Kagamajiji.
okay, let's give it a try.
The
Sir?
Senate, they used to request for the car, a special. Don't allow, let them get that car, but God already, anybody that is saying he needs position by himself, he want to real us. You not vote for that person.
Okay.
Because that person, there's no do the good to us.
All right.
For the Senate.
Oh dear, that call dropped off. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Femi.
Yes, good morning. Good to connect with you.
Yeah, this is Emmanuel from.
All right then, welcome. Let's hear you.
I have a serious question for the National Assembly of the Federal Republic.
Yes, please.
I hope they are listening. Please, the National Assembly of the Federal of Nigeria, what is your vision in this country? Do you people want to keep Nigerians and the youth of this country under perpetual poverty, or do you people want to uplift Nigerians? We are borrowing 1.56 trillion naira and trying to use it to buy a vehicle worth 230 million, 360 people. Does that make sense? Does that make sense in any facet? Does that make sense? You want to drive a Range Rover, if you want to drive any car, use your money and buy. Nobody will hold you. Using public money to buy a car worth 230 million in a country that some politicians have not even been paid. What kind of society do you want to produce? What kind of country is this? What kind of country is this? What is the mission of National Assembly? What is their mission in this country? Because nobody is asking them, nobody is keep accountable. They are doing as they like. They are doing as they like. This is injustice of the highest order.
All right. Well,
people
thank you.
People are buying fuel in the country. Fuel is 25 naira.
I'm going to break it off.
That God gave them and
thank
people
you.
are this reckless.
Thank you.
Let them continue.
Thank you.
Let them continue.
Thank you so much. We'll go on the break. But I have news for Joss. No electricity. There's been electrocution from Saturday, and I'd like to tell you more about it. While it's done with more, all you need to know to do.